The first story out of the gate was the impressive showing of the South volleyball team. Going into the quarterfinal match at home, the Lady Spartans' overall record is 30-5. In the 5 matches they've lost, they've learned their lesson of the lull and how to fight it. Can they do it now? Well, we've got a fast and furious highlight to go ahead and check out. We see the fans in the auxiliary gym, but they're still excited. They're ready to take them all the way to state. And this is the first game. Match point, Katie Exum with the kill. Excellent work. They would go ahead into the second match. They found that lull. Unfortunately, they couldn't get out. They will lose this one 29-27. And they would win game 3 25-13 though. This next one is set up and we see Mittelbacher, Erica Easley on that kill. They're down by 3 points now. Claremont trying to dump it, but Easley again with that kill. Match point, and it's only fitting here, 24-22, that Desi Kaliva is going to have a hand in this one. Katie Moorhead on the serve. Claremont will return, and you got to check out Desi's powerful kill. And boom for the win, 25-22. Let's go ahead and talk to middle blocker Erica Easley about how they're going to have to do the rest of the time.
We're just going to have to come out with more fire and just believe in each other. A lot of times what happens with teams is you all become individuals, and our team is more, we just have to stay as a team, 6 players, 1 team, instead of 6 individuals. And I think that's just going to be a big thing with each team.
South literally digs deep after the second set loss. They close it out rather beautifully though. Desi Kaliva, Katie Exum, and Erica Easley were the players that we featured in the postseason interviews thus far, but they certainly didn't do it alone. Skylar Ceballos and Danny Garcia, Brooke Russell, Tessa Fournier, and Corey Cooch all brought in their A game. The Lady Spartans are going to be hosting LaSalle in their home gym, so they're very excited about that. And that is all the volleyball we have for you on the scoreboard. And good luck to the Lady Spartans. And we hope that you get a chance to win in your gym and go all the way to Cyprus for the finals. Let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit onto football. The Torrance Tartars started their season and they fell 3 straight losses early in the season, but they shook it off and now they are in a fight for a share of the Pioneer League title, maybe with El Segundo. And the North Saxons aren't looking toward the postseason, but they're going to try and end on a winning note against their old foe. Ashley Morgado punches this one in for the Sports Desk.
This season finisher was one to not be forgotten. North and Torrance High both had some things they wanted to prove in the Pioneer League. For North, the team wanted to prove that even with the loss of star running back Ryan McDaniels, they could still come together and finish with a win. Torrance, who was in a 3-way tie for first place alongside El Segundo and South, was hoping that a win tonight would prove people wrong and give them a top seed in postseason playoffs. After 13 long plays, Torrance junior quarterback Jacob Kalama found Adam Dahl for a 12-yard touchdown pass. Now in the second quarter, on 4th and 1 at the 35-yard line, Kalama hands it off to Tyrone Taylor, who gets the down. And he doesn't stop there. 2 plays later, Taylor gets the handoff again and gets taken down just shy of the goal line. Back to the 15 for a holding violation on offense, but Michael Jurado says no problem, guys, and charges up the middle for a touchdown. Kick by Byron Davila was good. Torrance now lead 14-0. Now it's the Saxons' turn, and on their first play, quarterback George Hernandez connects with Devontae Jenkins. He doesn't go down till he gains 23 yards. Very next play, Hernandez hands it to Cameron Emanuel, who continues that running game and pushes the Saxons up another 18 yards. Although the Saxons got into Torrance territory, the Torrance defense did everything to stop their execution. Torrance put major pressure on Hernandez, who back-to-back got caught in trouble. Stuck on the 30, the Saxons try one last time, and Hernandez throws to Tori Anderson, but it turns out incomplete, giving the possession back to the fired-up Torrance offense. After a huge run for Torrance number 5 Quaco, the next play was one to amaze. A double handoff from Kalama to Ho to Taylor, who then throws it into the end zone to find Adam Dahl. He snags onto this one for a 3rd Torrance touchdown. To seconds left in the half. The Saxons have 2 drives to make something happen. Not converting on the first, it all comes down to this. Hernandez looks for Anderson in the deep corner of the end zone. He makes a great catch, but it's out of bounds.
So coming into halftime, the Saxons have had no problem marching up the field. It's finding the end zone that seems to be their problem. Torrance, on the other hand, is having no problem, already leading this game 21-0. Let's see if the Saxons can find a way to put some points on the scoreboard.
Not even 2 minutes into the third quarter, the Saxons rallied back. At the 30, Cameron Emmanuel finds the hole and runs untouched into the end zone. The kick after was blocked, so the Saxons are now chasing 6-21, but with plenty of time to go. 3 minutes later, in the same quarter, I hope you're ready for the Tyrone Taylor show, because he's going to run this one from the 48-yard line past Emmanuel and tiptoe it into the end zone, bringing Torrance to 28. Later in the quarter, Saxon's trying to stop another Torrance opportunity, but Kalama passes it to Taylor and lets his go-to push through for the touchdown. Now to the fourth quarter. The Saxons haven't lost their fight. Hernandez sees number 17, Tori Anderson, open to convert for a Saxon touchdown. They trail 13-34. With 5:35 left in the game, Torrance tried for one more touchdown. Aaron Salva tried to leap into the end zone, but the ball comes free. The players fight for the ball, but Salva managed to recover it, and it becomes the final touchdown. With the final seconds, Torrance celebrates the win that makes them the co-champs in the Pioneer League. Unfortunately, the Saxon seniors showed emotions of the empty loss.
It's kind of heartbreaking, you know what I mean? Me and the rest of the captains, 3 years varsity, kind of been waiting for our time to shine.
It's really emotional. I don't even want to go in the locker room. I'm upset myself. It's tough playing 4 years, beating Torrance, and then on the last game losing.
And although sad for the Saxons, Torrance had much to celebrate.
Really excited because it's like the first time we have a chance to win league in since 2007.
Everybody had doubts in us this year, but our coach staff always told us our actions are greater than our words, and I think we proved that tonight.
For the Sports Desk, I'm Ashley Morgado.
Oh, what a dandy player that Tyrone Taylor is. I wonder if that's a word that Coach Rock Hollis uses. Sounds like it. Taylor obviously didn't do it alone, though. Kwok Ho's 22 carries and 152 yards added to the Tartar win. Tyrone and Adam Dahl both scored 2 touchdowns and were stellar on defense. For North's Cameron Emmanuel and George Hernandez, their valiant efforts weren't enough to get more points on the scoreboard for the Saxons. The Tartars will host Santa Ynez for the first round of the playoffs. Good luck. We'll have the highlights for you. And the Knights football program is running into its second year of success. Their ground attack is solid, and there's just one player that can make the difference on the carries. There are a lot of them. Going into this game against undefeated St. Bernard, the fight for the league title is on. Reporter Patrick Alog tells us what they brought to the dogfight.
Bishop Montgomery and St. Bernard are both undefeated in Delray League play, and this is the 4th time in 5 years that the 2 undefeated teams in the Delray League meet in the final week of the regular season. Bishop Montgomery has already began the game recovering an onside kick, and Michael Turner gets a 27-yard touchdown run, knocking down over some Vikings. It's 7-0 early, first quarter. Let's fast forward to the second quarter. It's already 7 apiece, and Christian Smith throws a 40-yard touchdown on 4th and 1 to Josh Hill. It's the second touchdown this evening for St. Bernard on 4th down. Early second quarter, it's 14-7 Vikings. Next drive for the Knights, star running back Michael Turner is out with a shoulder injury, and coming in to replace him is senior Blake Alt as he scores a 3-yard touchdown to tie the game up for Bishop Montgomery. It's tied at 14 apiece. 4:41 left, second quarter. It's another 4th down for St. Bernard as Christian Smith throws a 20-yard touchdown to Chris Mack. It's his third 4th down touchdown of the game. It's 21-14. Less than a minute left in the first half, and Blake Alt from 5 yards out ties it up on the second touchdown of the game. Going to the half, it's now tied up at 21-21. Let's now go to the third quarter. It's 7:46 left, and Christian Smith finds Chris Mack for his 4th touchdown pass of the game. And with that, it is now 28-21 St. Bernard. On the ensuing kickoff, St. Bernard with a squib kick, and it goes off a Bishop Montgomery player, and it's recovered by Kamani Edwards of St. Bernard. And 2 minutes later, St. Bernard into the 5-yard line, and Christian Smith rolling to his left, and he finds Josh Hill for his 5th touchdown of the game. It's now a 2-possession ball game, 35-21. Ensuing drive for Bishop Montgomery, and Luis Soto goes back for the pass and finds Patrick Friedman for a nice 18-yard reception. Now early fourth quarter, same drive. It's 4th and 2 from inside the 5, and Blake Alt initially doesn't get the first down, but in the second attempt he does. And on the next play from 1 yard out, Blake Alt scores his 3rd touchdown of the game, and it is now 35-28 St. Bernard. Next drive for St. Bernard, and Christian Smith going back for the pass, and he finds Chris Mack, who has a lot of open space, goes by a couple of Knight defenders, and it is a 6th touchdown pass from Christian Smith. It is now 42-28. Less than 4 minutes left in the game. The Knights are saying it's not over yet. Blake Alt gets a 5-yard touchdown run, and after a failed 2-point conversion, it is now 42-34. However, with 2:21 left, St. Bernard got a pick 6, and with that extra point, it was 49-34 with 2:21 left, and that remained the final score of the ball game, as St. Bernard won the Delray League title, while Bishop Montgomery finished second with the record of 5-1 in league play. For Bishop Montgomery, the 49 points is the most points they've given up since October 2009, when they gave up 51 to North Torrance, and this loss breaks an 11-game winning streak they had in the Delray League.
Well, it's a tough loss. You know, we like to obviously win championships around here, and there's a big game, and we're disappointed, and we have to get things corrected and move on to kind of our second season in CIF playoffs.
Blake Alt talked about replacing star running back Michael Turner.
I knew the team needed me, so I just stepped up. I did what I've been doing all year, just playing my heart out.
Good luck to Bishop Montgomery and to all Torrance sports teams as CIF football playoffs begin this week. Reporting from Bishop Montgomery, I'm Patrick Alog for the Sports Desk.
That was Patrick Alog with the report. St. Bernard would win with a final score of 49-34. Blake Alt had a most impressive game. Yes, you were reading the stats right. Alt with 43 carries totaled for 187 yards and went in for 4 touchdowns. He picked up the slack when running back Michael Turner left the game in the first quarter with that shoulder injury. And it wasn't enough for the league title, but their good play this season earned the Knights a chance to host in the first round of the playoffs. The Knights will host Centennial from the Pioneer League. And the Spartans came out big with a 14-point lead over El Segundo. James Hapsgood was impressive with a pick 6 to start the game out. Then Brandon Loera scored a touchdown, but left the game with an injury. The Spartans couldn't get back in the groove of the game, and El Segundo's kicker, Leo Fami, sealed the deal with a 25-yard field goal. This helps the Eagles win to a share of the league title with the Tartars, and South managed the Pioneer League at-large bid for the playoffs and will play at St. Bernard for the first round, that team you just saw against Bishop Montgomery. And despite the Warriors not getting into the playoffs, it must be noted that they are a good offensive team. Almost every game they lost this season was by a touchdown and went all the way down to the wire. They won big against Lusinger with a 46-point shutout. Joey Notch, Nick Ruse, Dane Silverlake, and Barry Thomas, along with the rest of the Warrior roster, gave their effort in this win. Although they didn't get in the playoffs or the top spots, they have a lot to look forward to next year. PV looks good in the playoffs. I actually think that Miracosta has a better shot in CIF than second place for Redondo. Let's take a look at the final Pioneer League standings. Finds Torrance at the top. Congratulations, first time since 2007. They have a share of it with El Segundo, but they also got a better seed in the playoffs since they beat Gundo earlier in the season, 21-14. Centennial and South were also in the fight for the top spot in the last 2 weeks, but Centennial came after El Segundo, and South at the heels in the top 3. And North, man, they just couldn't get it going. They have a pretty potent offense, though. In the Delray League, it has St. Bernard's at the top after beating Bishop Montgomery in that final game you just saw. And Beamont finished the regular season with a record of 6-4. Right behind them are Cantwell, Sacred Heart, Don Bosco, Verbum, Day, LaSalle, and Mary Star finish at the bottom. So it wraps it up like this. Bishop Montgomery hosts Compton Centennial. Coach Hotchkiss tells us that the Knights need to cut down on their penalties if they plan on moving ahead in the playoffs. Torrance hosts Santa Ynez. We will have that for you. And South travels over to St. Bernard's as a Pioneer League's at-large team. Stick around. We have more football after the short break.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darks there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live United for Education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to Live United.